Hey, let's get to an email, Bill, from a viewer. Sherry asks, my son's car was in the shop getting new tires, and 2 days after he got it back, one of the tires came off while he was driving. That's terrifying. Luckily, he wasn't on the interstate, but the tire flew into another car and damaged it. And my son's car crashed into a power pole, and he hurt his neck and his right shoulder when the airbag came out. Is this our fault somehow, or can we pursue a case against the mechanic?
Oh, 100%, especially, that timeline. Like if you go get your tires changed and then a year and a half later something like that happened, it's going to be harder to prove. But when it's that close in time, especially if an expert looks at how, to be honest with you, I've got 2 or 3 cases similar to this right now where you'd be surprised how many times this happens, where the lug nuts are not properly put on or something of that nature. And it can be proven that, the person that you hired to do that didn't do a well enough job. They didn't tighten it enough. And so the car that was injured or damaged, they have a claim, obviously, against the place that fixed her son's car, but also absolutely the son has a claim against that place. Now, you're not just going to walk into, whatever that shop is and say, hey, y'all didn't do it right, and we want you to pay. So you're going to have to speak to an expert. They're going to have to talk to someone, to let them look at that, because it can be proven. Even after the car's in the junkyard, they're going to be able to look at it to see if they were properly put on. But absolutely don't give up on that, because, again, going back on that timeline, if you get your tires, put on and then a day or 2 later something happens, then chances are you're going to be able to prove that place didn't do a good enough job.
Like I needed something else to worry about, Bill. So this actually happens, you've got several cases like this where they don't put the lug nuts back on the tire correctly, and then the tire falls off as you're driving down the road?
Yes, unfortunately I do. But the case I got last week was a case that they went to a well-known place in town to have an oil change, and a day later, now they weren't hurt, thankfully, but a day later their engine blew up because all the oil was gone out of the engine. They went to another place and they said, oh, they forgot to put the drain in. And so they went back to the other place and they said, no, we didn't do that. But we were able to prove that, yes, you in fact didn't do a good job. And so they're going to be able, again, they're not hurt, but they're going to be able to get their transmission replaced, which cost them $6,500 to get it replaced.
Jeez.
But it happens all the time. Crazy stuff. A lot of times